Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode. Today, we're talking about the new movie Werewolves. Who's in this movie, babe?
Frank Diamond Phillips and some other people, but it's directed by Stephen C. Miller, who did a great movie called Aggression Scale. He did a reimagining of Silent Night that's fantastic. I love the guy. I'm a big fan.
All right, let's watch the trailer real quick.
Bite me!
Mom?
Uncle Wes, why can't you stay?
They need me to help them try and stop this. We're the only family we have left.
We got this.
Cody! What are you doing, man? You should kill somebody.
We are all soldiers now.
Tonight, when that sun sets, it's gonna be every man for himself.
We have a 9-hour window to test and report our findings. We hope to see if this mutation can be blocked.
Let's go over the rules.
Don't open the door for anyone.
Don't hesitate for a second.
Hoorah! 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 Good luck tonight.
Canopy retraction commencing.
No more guns, no more guards. Those things are coming for us.
I'm here.
Hey! Bite me!
Dude. Werewolves. All right. So, for those of you who don't know, I've always been team vampire. You've always been team werewolf.
Yeah.
So, we watch a lot of werewolf movies, I'm telling you. And there are so many bad ones. Not bad movies. I think bad effects and makeup and transformations, which I think is one of the things that we were really anxious and hopeful for. And I think these werewolves are amazing.
Well, so we got to back up a little bit. You're
Okay.
diving heavy into this already.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I really liked this movie, and I didn't know if I would. But
Well, and here's my
I did.
thing is, as I told you before we started watching the trailer, forgive me for typing. I'm trying to get this posted. Why is it not letting me? Oh, there it went. Sorry. I was really excited for this movie. This is doing everything except for what I wanted to do.
Did it work?
Finally. And I just wanted it to be good for a couple of reasons. One, my massive love for all things werewolves. I'll watch anything if you tell me a werewolf is in it.
Yep.
I know there's some trash. I know there's some ones that don't work, but if I get to see a werewolf of any kind, I'm happy.
Yep.
I may hate the film, but I love the werewolf.
Yep.
Then knowing Stephen C. Miller was making this movie made me even more excited because I know how he deals with horror and action and stuff like this. And then adding Frank Grillo to the mix made me even more excited. I'm like, this has the potential to be a badass movie.
Yep.
And then I saw some stills from it. I'm like, oh my God, they went man in suit.
Yes.
Which is exactly the way it should be all the
That's
time.
what we want to see because sometimes I was telling you the fakeness of transformations or the thing walking, or you just use like a regular wolf from the forest to be a werewolf, and sometimes it messes with your believability of what's actually happening.
Yeah, I accept all types of werewolves. I
Yeah,
get it.
fine.
There's the
I still like,
the wolf
because
people.
I like the one like from Chocolate.
Mhm,
I
where they
like
turn into
the-
actual wolves.
Yeah, I like
You know,
that.
then
But
you
I
can
like
go
that
into-
movie
Yeah,
because they're all like
the movie. I like the movie too because there's werewolves in it. But I'm a sucker for the full-on half man, half wolf vibe, and the more like the ones they did here reminded me very much of things like Dog Soldiers,
the series with Celine and the vampires.
a little bit. I like the Werewolves in Underworld.
Yeah, but I just like the big.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like when they're big.
I like in that movie. They kind of have more of a bulldogish type face,
snouties.
but I like the longer
Yeah, the
snout.
snouts.
I just think I like the more monstrous, the better.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I love about like an American Werewolf in London is they went the wolf route, but it's this talking,
It's
almost
big.
buffalo looking
Yeah, like-
thing. And so the one thing I love, I love this movie, by the way. The one thing I loved about this movie is, and I wrote a lot of these things I'll probably tell you in my physical review,
Okay.
is that it
Let me share a copy of that.
it seemed like it had some homages to things like Jurassic Park, Aliens, American Werewolf in London.
I think the American Werewolf with the guys like,
yeah,
you
with some
know,
of the
just
formations.
little things.
And when I say
throughout.
this, I don't mean this as like stealing.
No,
It has some homages because it was very much
homage.
its own voice.
Yeah.
And you see that, and it's almost, to me, I see those kind of things as a filmmaker's love of the things that inspired them or what they think. But there's so many just amazing, cool, badass shots in this.
Yeah,
movie.
I think one of the things that I kept cracking up, not in a good way, was like, that guy still has his shirt on.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
this guy's still that. This guy still has earrings on. Like, it's just little things that help you also distinguish all of the people in the pack here.
Well, and that's the thing that could
it's so
easily
smart.
cheese up a movie like this.
No, but it's smart.
But this is one of those movies that it took its title to heart. It says werewolves plural,
yes.
and there are many werewolves in this movie. They give them just those, like you're mentioning, just enough accessories, if you will, so you know who it might have been. If it's a character we've already met,
Licking her junk on.
or it's just a generic
Yeah.
character with the shirt hanging off, or like you said, you got like the biker bondage type werewolf.
Like-
Then you have characters that you know who they are,
Yeah.
and you can tell strictly by face paint or what they're wearing or whatever. And the movie also has kind of a Purge vibe,
Yeah.
which is perfect because Frank Grillo did one of the Purge movies.
And I was going to tell you the other thing that is really interesting to me in werewolf movies in general, and this one really captures it well, is it's really a look at human beings and what makes us monstrous. Not necessarily being a monster,
Yeah.
but you see this guy that's like, preaching like only evil people are going to turn, like except Jesus. Like you have those people, and then you have the military. We have to fight our own fight. You like everybody shooting.
Well, there's a
loading
whole
up.
sequence too where you have those different people that are accepting. Oh, we didn't even tell the premise of the movie.
Sorry.
That's
well, you
important.
saw it. The supermoon.
Yeah, the basic premise of the movie is there's a supermoon that happens to turn people to werewolves, and it's
we
coming.
don't know why.
Yeah, it did
It's
this whole
so
thing,
weird.
and now it's coming back. So
But-
this is like it's happening again, and everybody is kind of prepared, similar to the Purge, where they know this is happening.
Yeah.
They're preparing their houses with traps and barbed wires and stuff.
And it's interesting. Like I said, it's really the human monster.
It is.
Because like we have all these groups. You have just like in the Purge, the people that somehow there's this whole new military group. They have all of this arsenal stacked up. You have all the like kind of homeless, poor people having to hide underground in a bodega. You have people like, and it's just the factions. You always have the scientists that think they're going to find the answer, and the government people. Like you have all the groups, but you see too that there's the people that want to turn that are like, yeah, come
Well,
on.
that's one thing I was fixing
That's
to mention, which is
creepy.
why I needed to explain it, because there's a sequence, and we're going to do all these without spoilers as much as possible.
We're trying.
But there's a sequence
get so
where you
excited.
get a few of the people that they're kind of doing some tests on that had turned previously, I believe.
Some did and
Some
some
did,
didn't.
okay, yeah,
They
so-
volunteered.
But seeing the personalities, is you have one that's like changed their mind about volunteering, the other one's like, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And then the other one's clearly psychotic, and the other one is like, I can't wait for this. And it was interesting. You're
Creepy.
getting all the different people in society and the kind of representations of how they
telling
feel
you.
about it.
And we've talked about this before. The scariest, most monstrous thing on this planet are humans themselves.
Well, that's what makes things like The Walking Dead work, is because the zombies are not
Yeah.
the monsters in that show.
That's the
And
people.
in this
And
case,
this is the same thing. People.
but I will say, even though that is the case in a lot of the story element here, They make sure those werewolves are ripping some people
Oh,
apart.
yeah. And I love that we had packs of werewolves
Yes.
roaming together. It was so good. And then they were using like actual wolf pack mentality where they try to like circle prey and they're
And
like,
they were
they're
slightly-
moving in on us.
I like that they were kind of intelligent. They weren't just like monstrous.
Yeah.
But they did things in an animal way, unlike how a dog might figure out an electric fence, or
Yeah.
they see things, they try something. Okay, this doesn't work. Let's try a different way.
It's
And so
very much a pack mentality.
Yeah, you could tell there was an attention to detail of not just their look, but how are they going to move? How are they going to act? You know, they're all hunched slightly, even though they're massive.
They got the big arms.
I will say my concern at the beginning, and it was a very unwarranted concern by the time I watched the film, was when I saw some of the early releases of the wolves themselves. I was stoked because I love this design. I wasn't a big fan of the face at first, but it grew on me because
everybody's is slightly different.
But it wasn't that. I think it was just there's some angles that made it kind of cartoony at some point, but I think that was my own concern. It wasn't an actual issue in the movie. And I think it's because maybe I was trying to set my bar lower because I was afraid.
Yeah, you never know.
It wasn't going to give me what I wanted.
I'm telling you, we've seen
but they
some
did
bad
such great
ones.
with the lighting. Because sometimes you can create a great creature and it just works better in the shadows than in the light. Like you can look at some of these horror films and you think it's badass and you see what the creature actually looks like out of the shadows and you're like, that looks stupid. These kind of work both ways. You know, and there's the personality nature, like you mentioned, in their faces.
Yeah.
They're not all just the same face over and over.
Yes, which I appreciate.
They look like they just used the CGI to enhance some of their moving and some of the little things here and there. And I don't know how much CGI was used. They may have used a lot of speeding up cameras. I don't know. But it is an independent film from a standpoint. It doesn't have the mass blockbuster like all these other films. But the money was very well and intelligently spent.
Yes, they took their time to use it where it counted.
Yeah.
You know, like we didn't spend our budget on, you know, fire or whatever. You know, there's some. But
there's plenty of it.
Yeah, there's plenty. It's like use the money where it needs to go, which is on the werewolves.
Yeah.
And it was good.
And Frank Grillo.
And Frank Grillo. That's fine too. And probably La Bamba. Who knows?
La Bamba probably doesn't know.
Yeah, who knows? No, but you know what? And this is the most random thing because he shows up and I'm like, you go La Bamba, and then suddenly La Bamba might be in trouble, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And I know he
Did you stop calling him La Bamba?
I know his name is Lou Diamond Phillips,
He's
and I know
people.
he's done way no.
I know he's not.
He is. You know what? And I appreciate Lou Diamond Phillips because he is everything.
Yeah, he plays Indians, Mexicans.
He was in the Joe Coy movie.
Yeah.
I love Lou Diamond Phillips because he has that ability to beat anything. I love him and his look.
And here's something else that I like about these kind of movies is you have somebody like a Lou Diamond Phillips who may not be the star power theatrical draw that he once was. But he's still a strong actor. He's still
good.
He's still relevant. I'm not saying
so
like that.
Believable in this.
But when you put somebody like him in there, it gives you that feeling of like, oh, this movie's bigger than it might have been otherwise.
Yeah.
And Frank Grillo, who is to me highly underappreciated as an actor, action star.
He's good.
Just overall, because the guy can play drama, he can play action. You know,
let's give him a romantic comedy.
And he shows up in, 1 minute he shows up in Captain America, and then you'll see him in The Purge.
Yeah.
Then you'll see him on Tulsa King, and then he's in Werewolves, and he's like,
so good on
he's
Tulsa
everywhere.
King,
and even though he's kind of like him on almost everything, you want him to be that.
Yes.
I don't want. I harass people like Jimmy Stewart a lot that they're Jimmy Stewart in every movie.
Yeah.
I don't want Frank Grillo to be somebody else. Frank Grillo is another one.
Badass.
He's another one of those guys like what is the other guy that always says one of the coolest people on the planet? Not Ethan Hawke, the other one.
I don't know.
You see the smoking commercial? He's walking on the beach. I have to show you. Anyway,
I don't know.
He's his actor. He's in Blade. I think he's just one of the coolest things. But Frank Grillo's another one of those. Like, I watch him on
That's
Instagram.
why I'm like, I want him to do a romantic comedy. I want to see him do something he doesn't do normally.
I watch him on his Instagram when he's training, when he
badass.
talks. He just has kind of this attitude.
Got the swag in the hair.
Yeah, he feels like he's just who he is.
He is.
And I think he works in this movie. He works really, really well.
Yeah.
But I just want to say Miller directed the shit out of this movie.
Yeah, it was good. And then I like seeing. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
I like the cast too. So we have Lou Diamond Phillips, which is cool. Katrina Law, who I love from NCIS Hawaii. And then I want to do a little shout out to the little girl. She's the cutest little girl.
She's
I
not too
love
bad.
her cute little hair. And then she wasn't too annoying because
Yeah.
you know kids can be annoying sometimes and like, but she was just like the right amount of
Annoying.
scared, terror, missing her dad. Like, what are we gonna do? But she really did a good job. So I'm just gonna shout out because I don't think kids get enough. Oh, and then this guy shows up and we're like,
Oh,
that guy's there. So
the guy
you know,
from Heroes.
yeah,
We're like, hey, that guy from Heroes.
he's here. So it was really good. And then I think too we had just good representation of people who do stupid things when things like this are going on. People who actually are prepared, people who are ready to fight back, and then you just have that one person that's just walking around oblivious, dumb in the world. So I thought it was just really well rounded. We had a little bit of everything. There you go. Good werewolf movie. We've had 2 so far this year, I think. Good werewolves.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say this publicly.
Mm,
I wrote it in my review, but I want this documented.
okay. For posterity.
There's movies in this genre, the werewolf movies, that kind of sit at the top, just like any other genre.
Yeah.
You think about slasher movies, it's always gonna be like Freddy, Jason, those kind of movies. In the werewolf movies in the world, you're gonna have Dog Soldiers, you're gonna have The Howling, you're gonna have American Werewolf in London, and I would even venture to say Ginger Snaps.
Yeah,
But
I love it.
I think this movie sits up there equal to all of them.
Wow.
I think it knows what it is. There was passion in making it. It may not have got the budget that it deserves to make a bigger scaled movie, but you couldn't tell the difference watching the movie. I love that it's getting a theatrical run and not dumped on streaming or dumped on straight to video. I am upset with AMC, that I'm going to say publicly.
Wow.
Because they started cutting the show times so that their bigger movies like Wicked and these other nonsense movies that don't need the help can get more money because they know they'll make money from it. Where movies like this, we actually had tickets to go see it.
Yes.
On Friday, and
we wanted to go to an afternoon screen.
Yeah, and I wanted to support it on the big screen because we have other things going.
Did it have captions?
No, we were just going to go see it. I would get my headset because if you don't know, I can't hear. And we got a notice that AMC canceled the showing, and I'm like, "The hell, dude!" And I went and looked, and it went from having multiple showings through the day to just 8 o'clock and 10:30 at night, which is normally fine. We can make those, but we had stuff going on, so I wasn't able to go like we wanted. Big shout out to Briarcliff. I reached out to them so I could get us a copy for reviewing. And I don't know if they want me to tell that, but I did because thank you, because I've never been. So I woke up her up at like 2 a.m. when the email. We got Werewolves. We're watching it tomorrow.
Because we were going to watch it regardless. We were going to try to figure out how.
Yeah, I was going to go Sunday morning
if I could figure it out. Middle of the night, like we're going to go.
But I was so pissed because I think that does such a disservice. They just want
more Wicked.
Yeah, and I think it upsets me. I think shame on you, AMC, because I think AMC was one of the few theaters, at least around here, showing it. Like
Alamo didn't even have it.
Had it at one theater, and it was not even near us. And I think for them to
that's not right.
To business-wise, I get it because they know they'll fill up those other theaters.
But give us a small screen.
But this isn't like it opened against those movies. This is a couple weeks out.
Yeah.
This should be treated like a brand new movie. Give it one theater, give it all of its show times.
Yeah.
You don't need to take it away and give the other show times to a different movie that doesn't need help. That's already well beyond.
Yeah, they're making their movie.
We won't get movies like this in the theater if the theaters don't support releasing them as well.
Correct.
So I also want to give a shout out to director Miller. He has been a social media juggernaut pushing this movie. And I know he doesn't need my help. He's doing his thing, but I know he's made some appearances at some theaters. He just went out there without telling people. He's been posting posters. He's been saying, go see it. He's been commenting on people. He commented on a post we made. He's been out there and.
Yeah. Thank you.
I would give him props whether the movie is good or not because I'm a fan. But this movie is not. I'm not blowing smoke for any of the reasons. I love this movie.
It was a lot of fun.
This movie will be on my top 10 of the year. I don't care what it knocks off. It ain't getting off. It's wow. That came off wrong. I will knock off Gladiator or whatever, just so I can keep Werewolves because that's how
And
much I
your
love
top
this movie.
10.
Yes.
Okay.
It won't knock
There you
off the
go.
Memoir of a Snail, but it will.
Oh, Memoir of a Snail is so good. But I was saying the other werewolf movie was good too this year with
The Beast Within. It
Beast
was
Within.
okay.
It was a completely different,
different vibe.
thing. But I'm just saying, I feel like we're getting really good stories, and I hope people are seeing them. And I don't know if things get lost in the shuffle of these big media things like a Wicked or a Gladiator or whatever, which that's fine. We saw those. But everybody says you want different movies. You
But they
don't
won't
want
go sort 'em,
sequels.
yeah.
You want something independent. You want something fresh. Well, go see these movies because this.
Yeah,
one
that's
was
another
really
big
good.
thing that I have an issue with, and I know that's not something that's talking about werewolves themselves, but people complain about remakes and reimaginings and sequels and
Go see
and
something
this,
new.
and why does every movie got to be a gigantic blockbuster? And then a movie like this comes along and you don't support it.
Mhm.
That's why. If you're seeing Wicked for the 30th time, or you're seeing Gladiator twice, or you're seeing the next Marvel movie 30 times, and you're not watching all these other movies and things, it's sad when I scroll through a movie theater and it's showing 5 movies.
Yeah.
Because all the showtimes are filled up for those 5 movies. I remember when you go, a thing I used to do when I was younger is there was a theater by us. It was, at the time, it was the fanciest, biggest theater. I was just out of high school. It had like 15 screens. Every screen had a different movie.
Yes.
And my goal was to see every movie in that screen.
Mm-hmm.
And you just don't get that anymore. It's they have theater. Like, I was looking at Times and like, hey, you can rent the Times for a theater. I'm like, who gives a crap about renting it? Put this movie in it so people can watch it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's ridiculous.
I love this movie. And one of my favorite parts too is that the entire thing is wide open for a franchise.
Yeah.
Because with that moon thing, we could do Purge-like, where you can do tons of different storylines with different characters, different people, different werewolves.
Yeah.
Or
Or
you
you
can
go back to
continue.
year 1.
Year 1,
We can come to year 3, like supposedly we have a cure, but what if there's people who are like, I don't want the cure, I want to be a werewolf because I want to
you
go
can
kill my
continue the
ex-wife.
same characters.
We're gonna purge it up.
Yeah, there's so many options that they can do with this. I just hope.
What if because the werewolves are somewhat intelligent, like they band together,
As
like
long as they
on
don't start
purpose?
talking, because that's going to mess it up.
Yeah. No, but
Although, if it has an English accent.
con señas, like, and then they're like,
No, wait a minute. If I see a werewolf show up and he's all like, wow, he's ripping up, and he goes, hello.
hello there.
That I might accept.
It's Werewolf in London.
But just make sure you get like somebody like Patrick Stewart to voice the werewolf. That would
And
be awesome.
then engage.
Anyway, I did love this movie.
It was really good.
It is one of my favorite werewolf movies of all time now.
There you go.
And I will be watching it. And if it makes a franchise, whether that franchise is in the theaters
We don't know.
or it is a straight to
We just
video
gave you some
streaming,
ideas.
I will watch every single one that comes out.
Nice. What if now the government tries to militarize the werewolves? Because the
I
government.
don't care what they do with the werewolves. Just
things.
keep the tone. And I have one
Isn't it?
request for Mr. Miller if he happens to watch this.
Yes.
If somebody gives you a bigger budget, obviously use it. That's yours. As a director, I know you would love to have. Just don't change our formula.
Yeah.
That's where most people go wrong with their sequels. They get more money. They try to do too much. I don't think he would.
It's too fancy.
I think he has the sensibilities because he's an indie filmmaker and he
I
likes
love that.
what he does. I don't think he would change that. But I would love for him to get a bigger budget so he could do more something. I'm sure there's tons of stuff in this movie he didn't get to do the way he wanted because he may not have been able to. But either way, he pulled off a movie that looks mass budget. It was awesome. It's fun. It's a nonstop action horror. It's not even horror. It's just a nonstop action thing. But it has the scary vibes and some of the, like I said, some of the best visuals. And I love this poster. I think this is the best-selling poster they've had to sell this kind of movie. It's like front and center. You want werewolves? There's a werewolf
right there.
I don't need to say Frank Grillo. I love Frank Grillo, but if I see a werewolf poster,
Well,
I
the
want to see a
ladies
werewolf.
might need to see, or other people.
No, but I'm talking about
that
for the
love
poster or
Frank
something. They
Grillo.
can get a Frank Grillo poster later. But the poster like says Frank Grillo at the top and give me a werewolf face. I'm ready for action. Anyway,
right.
love this movie, love this movie, love this movie. Werewolves in theaters now.
All right, moving on, babe. Tell me what's coming out.
Hold on, I got to go back because I was too busy canceling out doing werewolf things.
So in love with the werewolves over here. I'm still team vampire, but I can get down with werewolves.
So coming out on Blu-ray and stuff. Last week we had some of the Disney Plus series: Loki season 2, Ahsoka season 1, Hawkeye season 1, Mandalorian season 3.
And some of those box sets look nice.
They're super sweet. And I'm bummed because these are the third set of 4 they put out, and it's the first set of 4 they didn't send me.
No,
So
you have to go.
that's all right.
I'll
I'm
go
gonna buy them. They
I'll
range.
buy
I think they're about $50 a piece, so I'll buy them
That's
anyway.
nice.
Never Let Go with Halle Berry has been released. We have to check that out. Wild Robot is coming home, or it's already come home.
Lupita.
And then this week, it's a lot of older stuff being released. The Last Video Store, which I don't even know what that is. I don't know if it's a documentary or if it's. Hold on, now I want to know. Hold on.
All right, hold on.
It's a B movie kind of thing that's more a love letter to video stores. So that's kind of what I thought it was. The Toxic Crusaders, the series, the collector's edition, which was an animated Toxic Avenger cartoon series that came out years ago. Riddick, the 4K edition comes out, which is a good time for that to get released because they're making the new Riddick movie now. I believe they've started it. And then Ted 4K is coming out. Silent Night, Deadly Night, 40th anniversary 4K is coming up. We'll be doing a show about the franchise because she's just now being exposed to them. I apologize for that. We'll see if our marriage.
Garbage day.
No, you're just supposed to say garbage day.
I don't know.
We'll see if our marriage holds up to that marathon.
We're going to start part 3.
Willow's getting the 4K treatment. Stir of Echo's getting a 4K treatment.
Love me, Kevin Bacon.
Rock and Roll High School's getting a 4K treatment. And Pray for Death is getting a new release, which is a Shokasuki movie. I'm so excited.
Nice.
And that's kind of it.
All right, coming out at the theater or on the line this Wednesday, and on Netflix. It's a movie called Maria. It tells the story of the world's greatest opera singer during her final days in 1970s Paris, starring Angelina Jolie. This is exciting. Coming to Disney Plus also on Wednesday is a limited series called Dream Productions. It's from the same people that brought you Inside Out 1 and 2, where you learn about the emotions that live inside your head. Now we're going to see how they make dreams. So this is going to be really exciting. Also coming to Netflix on Wednesday, it's a documentary called Michaela's Voice, A Letter to the World. It's about a young girl named Michaela who has a rare form of autism that has made her nonverbal, and her parents fight and belief in their daughter to hopefully transform her world.
Is there something that we can make you nonverbal?
Wow. Coming out Friday to the theater, The Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim. It is an animated feature. Oh, you got a button?
A little pin.
Nice. So it's an animated feature. I don't know if you have to watch all the Lord of the Rings because this is a prequel.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, it takes place like 300 years before.
Centuries before. Who knows? We'll find out. Also coming to theaters, Kraven the Hunter. And you're going to say?
Please be better than Madam Web.
There you go. Also coming out in limited release, maybe near you, a movie called The Last Showgirl with Pamela Anderson. We'll be watching that and talking about that one. Also Friday on Netflix, a movie called Carry On. We will be talking about that. Oh, it's got Eggsy. Sorry.
Yes, no, I've told you that.
Taron Egerton. So we'll watch that. There's a lot of things coming out online, so check it out. Over to you, my lord. We're talking about giveaways.
Oh, giveaways. Sorry, we still got a lot of the same stuff. So hopefully we get some new stuff in the coming weeks. With the holidays getting here, it slows down on the stuff they give out until after the holidays. But we still got a couple copies of 4K of the Terminator and North by Northwest, Blazing Saddles, the anniversary edition. It's not the anniversary, the 4K edition of Interstellar, which is in theaters now on IMAX if you want to recheck it out. The Watchmen Chapter 2 on 4K, and some digital copies of Conclave.
That's it for us this week. We will see you next time.